week, I caught up with Dave Boyce, who is CEO of the New Zealand Trucking Association. Dave provided an insight into how they've dealt with coronavirus challenges and what they're expecting heading into the recovery process.
Certainly when we went into lockdown, we had a lot of trucks parked up. We had the government over here sort of deemed essential services and non-essential. So basically, if you're operating trucks that were servicing supermarkets and that sort of thing, you were deemed, and medical supplies, you were deemed as essential services. Operators doing that sort of thing were really busy. Some of them were having to put on extra trucks and drivers and hire refrigerated trailers and things like that. The flip side to that was we had a lot of parts of the trucking industry that were deemed as non-essential. The government said, well, we don't want that freight moving. What happened within a very short period is they started to realise that they were starting to get gridlock at some of the ports and key transport hubs because the freight wasn't being moved. So as an industry, we lobbied government on that to get them to be aware of that, and they eased. Took quite a while actually, but they eased the restrictions to the point that you could shift containers from those ports and hubs to other facilities, but you still couldn't take them to the end user. As we came out of the different stages of lockdown, that eased up a lot of freight movement. Access to food and toilets became very apparent very quickly. Businesses that were not making facilities available, and yet they were making them available for their own staff and things like that. So that sort of created a bit of angst and animosity for a wee while, but we got through all that, and we got some of the councils to open up their facilities on some of the key freight routes, and that certainly helped. We worked from home, and we did quite a bit of strategising in that on just how we could help members and industry going forward, and we've come out with some pretty good stuff going forward. Also been dealing with a lot of people that are looking to get into our industry as well, because dealt with quite a few airline pilots who obviously haven't got jobs at the moment. On the fun side of things, we set up and ran New Zealand's first virtual show and shine, and we got close on 600 entries, which was like absolutely amazing. So it's been good for the industry. It's something to be proud of with their trucks and that they've spent so much effort polishing up in that. A lot of newfound respect from the average Kiwi for the trucking industry over here. A lot of them realised that they were part of the essential workers that were working, and the drivers were certainly the true heroes in all this. A lot of it's around providing them with the right sort of support. One of the things that we do is we have what we call a cost modelling service as the association. So we actually analyse their business costs for them and work out whether what they're doing is profitable. And we've also been doing a lot of lobbying with central government on that. In New Zealand, we've got planned 5.3% increase to our road user charges coming in on the 1st of July. And despite all the efforts of our industry over here, they seem to be pretty determined to put that through. We're still continuing that discussion, and we're hoping we'll get them to see reason in the next few weeks, but we'll see how we go. Coming out of lockdown was just the match fitness of drivers coming back to work, issues with fatigue and things like that. You know, if they hadn't been working for 5 or 6 weeks, was getting them back up to speed. Having to deal with other road users as well who are in the same situation, who hadn't been driving their vehicles for a while. And we've been doing a few road safety messages and things like that. Certainly within the association here, we've all come back to newfound vigour, and we're certainly enthusiastic about things going forward. It's given us the time to look at some of the things that we're doing and come up with some exciting new programs. Definitely some lessons and some positives. Certainly has given people time to analyse what they're doing and perhaps push the reset button on it and get their business set right going forward. I think on the overall balance of things, I think things are pretty positive for our industry going forward.
Authorised by Ben Maguire for the Australian Trucking Association, Canberra.